Hey everyone, so before I start, I have a really good video for you today. But before I start, I want to go ahead and ask you to subscribe and tap the bell for notifications. This is a new channel, however, I'm hoping to see it grow. And so I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel. So, um, what is my video about today? I'm really excited about this video, and here's why. As you know, this is a channel about life coaching, what's the difference between life coaching, mental health counseling, as well as topics that you would typically would come under the purview of mental health, the mental health field. And so I'm currently a graduate student. I'm finishing up my first year of classes. I am anticipating being in practicum and internship in a year, from a year's time, so another year of classes. I've already learned a lot in 1 year. I attend at the Townsend Institute, which is under the leadership of clinical psychologist and best-selling author Dr. John Townsend. You may or may not have heard of him, but I will go ahead and put a link to his information below in the description below. I will put information about the school that I go to. That's through Townsend Institute is through Concordia University, Irvine, California, here in the United States. And then I will put some links to his books below. He's written many books on his own, as well as co-authored with Dr. Henry Cloud. And there is, I don't know if you know about this, very recently, I want to say within the last 5 years, June 1st was set aside as World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. And recently, in the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, the topic of narcissism, narcissistic people, narcissistic abuse, if you've been abused by someone who fits that criteria, has gotten really, really popular. Without going into all the details, I have some of my other videos where I talk about what is narcissism, what is sociopathy, cluster B personality disorders, and all that. And I don't really go ahead and look at some of my other videos for a breakdown on what those traits look like. But the big question that I see a lot in all the different people, from professionals who talk about this topic, as well as lay people that don't have a degree. I do not currently have a degree. I am studying it. So I consider myself sort of in between. I'm not someone who's just hacking out information without having education to back it up. However, at the same time, I do not yet have clinical experience. This is from personal experience and research that I've done, tons and tons of research. So I do, just a background on me, I do have experience with a couple of relationships that were undiagnosed cluster B. I've been, through my studies, been able to look at the traits and see really what was the pathology that is going on behind that kind of personality structure. Back to the point of my video. What is this video about? A big thing, big question is can a narcissist change? Or can a sociopath change? And I thought, well, that's a good question. And there's a lot of different thoughts. Actually, there's not a lot of, let me backtrack. There really aren't a lot of different thoughts on that. Most people say, no, they can't change, never will. That is from professionals to non-professionals. A lot of them are saying that. So I get to talk to Dr. John Townsend once per class. Our classes are several weeks long, and every class we get online. He gives a teaching, and then we get to ask questions, Q&A. So who better than to ask, can a narcissist change or can a sociopath change? The technical terms is narcissistic personality disorder, abbreviated NPD, as well as antisocial personality disorder, abbreviated ASPD. I don't want to go into psychopathy. It's related, but it's different, and I didn't ask that question. What I did was recently got online in one of my classes, and I asked Dr. Townsend that very question: do they change? So I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm going to go ahead and insert right after this intro here, I'm going to go ahead and put what his answer is, and you might be surprised. I was not completely surprised, to be honest, after talking to him about it and listening to what he had to say. I was informed. So I hope you like the video.
Hey, Leslie.
Hi, Dr. Townsend. Can you hear me okay?
Hear you fine.
Yeah. So yeah, I started in August. So I kind of wanted to pick your brain because I know you do more corporate stuff and it's been a while since you did clinical stuff. So now they typically don't go into counseling unless either A, they're married to someone that wants them to, or they've been
court mandated, or
exactly court mandated. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm just curious, have you ever run into clients with Aspd, and what is your approach?
Absolutely, and they got well.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate it when people say, well, an antisocial narcissist, they never get well. Not true. Not true. Now,
they have to want to go.
Well, not at first. They don't have to want to go. They don't have much of a hunger and thirst for righteousness, but I'll take it if their butt's in the seat and they can make the attachment, they'll get there. So at first they don't want to go because they grumble and think there's nothing's wrong with me.
Right, right.
The want to comes after the butt's in the seat. So you got to get them there. But the process does work.
Okay. Counseling was just another game.
So what's the question?
I was just wondering what your experience was with any clients in the past that have.
I've had a lot of them in treatment, and it's
good.
Hard work.
How long does it take typically? Would it like a year or 2 or 3?
Well, it's always kind of the impossible question.
Okay.
But I can tell you some principles. Longer than anybody dreamed. But for people that are really kind of healthy neurotic, it takes a long time too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but no, we're talking once a week minimum for minimum of 2 years. Once a week, if not twice, for minimum 2 years.
Right. And did you diagnose them? And did you ever give them a diagnosis or no?
No, I don't think that's helpful. I diagnose all the time. My brain doesn't. I can't not diagnose. But in terms of what's helpful to the client, I have not. There are some that I'll tell their diagnosis, but the narcissistic diagnosis, sometimes I'll tell them if they can metabolize it without leaving or going into shame, to say, you know, you have some self-absorption issues and it impacts your relationships. The antisocial, I'll say it in ways that can be metabolizable because I want to keep them there. So the antisocial might be, it seems to me that you have a hard time seeing how your behavior might negatively impact people, and then when you even see it, that there's a problem and feeling bad about it. And they'll go, yeah, I'm kind of a rule breaker. I say, yeah, we're kind of in the same ballpark here. And so I put it in their kind of language. But here's the thing. They've got to keep losing to stay in for a while. And then they start winning, because what happens is if the therapist knows what they're doing and is very, very, very for them, but very strict, doesn't cut them any slack. Confrontation, while at the same time and they can tolerate that. What happens is they move from grandiosity and conscienceless behavior to basically they move to some kind of attachment. They start feeling like, this is the mom I never had. This is the dad I never had. You're not letting me run, do whatever the hell I want to, and you love me and you're confronting me, and they start to feel that's what I should have had. They begin to develop an attachment. After the attachment, they begin to feel paranoid, because the antisocial likes to feel power over other people. And they realize in this dependent relationship, I'm feeling scared because my therapist could hurt me, and I don't like being vulnerable. But they have to go through a necessary paranoia. And then they move to grief. And the grief is, look what I've done to the people in my life and how I thought about me, and look at the wake I left. And they have to go through a deep grief. And then they come out very healthy. It takes a long time, but it works if they stay in with the right person.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, Heidi.
So I hope you got a lot out of that. As you can tell, Dr. Townsend gets frustrated when people say that narcissists and sociopaths can't change, and I can understand from his standpoint, if you've actually clinically diagnosed as well as rehabilitated a personality like that, that would be kind of a slap in the face to your work as a professional. So I can understand why he would get frustrated because he has actually worked with these clients and seen successful change. As you could see from how he explained it, it's not an easy process. It's not overnight. There's a lot of different components that have to come together to make that happen, but it is possible. Just to clarify and put it on the issue, this is from a clinical psychologist. This is not me asking, or it's me asking, but it's not me giving, it's not me answering. So I hope this is helpful. Like I said, this is a new channel. I would love if you could hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell for notifications. I tend to put out videos on things that I'm learning about in my studies that, I don't know, may or may not help other people. So I really appreciate you watching. Have a great day, and I will see you the next time, hopefully on my next video.